What's good, everybody? It's your boy Hamza from Ather Gaming, and I'm coming to you guys finally with a brand new video after 2 months. I'm like the Avatar, I disappeared when you guys needed me for this post Banlist goodness. I have finally reappeared. Again, guys, I did not upload in the past couple months because I just thought the format was just so bland and boring. There just wasn't anything that I felt like uploading for you guys that would have been unique or even nice, because again, guys, we prefer quality over quantity. I almost said the other way around. But anyways, guys, like this video. Let's try and get 13 likes on this video. Let's try and be consistent with those likes. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we literally are about to go crazy in 2021. Without further ado, guys, let's get straight into this video. Alright, guys, so of course we are going to be starting this deck profile off right, and again, every single deck profile, every single deck needs its Candinas, its Stratos, just that one card, little searcher card that can really get the engine going. And this card's version of that card is the Buster Up of the Destruction Swordsman. Now if you guys do not know what this card does, read it with me. When this card's normal summon, you can add one Destruction Sword card from your deck to your hand, except itself of course, and then you can only use one of the following effects once per turn and only once that turn. Now these effects, again, you won't really use as often as you think you would, but they do come up in very niche situations, as I'll explain later on. One of the effects is you can tribute this card, special summon one Buster Blader from your hand or graveyard. So again, pretty cool effect in that regard. And then the other effect is this card is in your graveyard, you control a Buster Blader, discard one Destruction Swordsman card, and special summon this card. And again, he is a level 1, a dragon, and a tuner monster. This effect, this graveyard effect, you're probably going to be using a lot more than this effect, to be honest. But again, the main effect you're going to be using it, you're going to normal summon Buster, you're going to use this effect, you're going to, add your Destruction Swordsman card, and so on and so forth. And I'll show you guys like the bare bones combo later on. But again, that is just it for him. We are going to play 3 of him because he's the best normal summon of this deck. Moving on, guys, we are going to be talking about a new card that finally came off the ban list, which I'm kind of split on. I don't know if it should have came off the list, but again, you don't really know what the future holds. But again, maybe this is going to be abused in like that Dragon Link deck where they use like DMZ Dragon and they equip like that, but that's for another video. But again, Dragon Buster Swordsman, if you guys don't know what this card does, is you can target one Buster Blader you control, equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. A lot of people don't know that it has this effect from your hand or field to that target, right? So that's it's kind of like that Spiral Last Resort in that regard. It is a very, very underrated effect, especially since we lost Union Carrier. If you draw this card, you can just equip from your hand, it doesn't matter. Cool. While this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special monsters from the extra deck. I'm sure we all know, and we all absolutely hate this card. But again, this card says while this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon this equipped card. Now keep in mind that this card, as well as Buster Whelp, can both special summon themselves. They are level 1 tuners, right? So that's something to really keep at the back of your mind. But again, this deck gets even more potent having access to our extra deck lock now. Now moving on to another card that you kind of have to play more of, and I'd rather play this card over any of the other Buster Bladers. That is Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. Now again, if you guys don't know, I had been playing this deck for a super long time. I just never felt like it was the right time to really showcase it until now. But again, Buster Blader Destruction Swordsman. Again, the reason why we use this card, wow, I say again a lot. The reason why we use this card is Buster Blader while in the field or in graveyard. Okay, cool. If a monster your opponent controls is from a battle or card effect sent to the graveyard, target one of those destroyed monsters and equip it to this card. Then once per turn, send one monster card you control that is equipped to this card, and then you just basically nuke all monsters that have the same type as that card. That effect is kind of cool. I mean, you can reborn him and you can special summon him using a Buster Up to get him back. But again, like I said before, you're only specifically using him just for the synergy that he relies on with like the other cards in the deck. And you'd rather just not play a vanilla. You'd rather play an actual monster that has something if you can actually summon him. Like I've stated before with Buster Up, where you can actually just tribute him and special one from your hand or graveyard. Cool. That's it for like the Buster Blader monsters. Now moving on, again, we are going to be playing one of the most potent engines and like one of the most splashable engines in this current format right now, which is the Dogmatic Engines. Again, playing triple Ecclesia. I don't really feel like I should be explaining Ecclesia all too much, but again, if you guys don't know, normal special, add Dogmatica card, extra monster on the field, special summoner from your hand. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn when you summon her, of course, and she can't be destroyed by extra monsters. Again, there's not much else to explain about these Dogmatica cards. They have been in the meta for a very long time, but now again, triple Dogmatica, and then we are going to be playing double Fleur. Now Fleur, again, it's like that effect revealer. You reveal it, summon it like Dingir, so you just go boop, okay, I'm summoned, see you later. Very similar to, not Dingir, sorry, Levineer in that regard, where once it hits the board, that's it. And yeah, I mean, Fleur's just really OP. And I'm not gonna play 3 just because we have a lot more consistency in this deck with the new card that's been released. I'm sure you guys can see it. And I don't play Maximus just right now. You can play Maximus if you want. That's for like the core main monsters. Moving on to, like, I guess you could say like the hand trap sort of. We are going to be playing triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Again, the most versatile hand trap in the current format and probably in the entire history of Yu-Gi-Oh! This card literally covers every single, it checks every single box, you know what I mean? Your opponent wants to draw, you say no, special summon, no, anything. It just stops everything. Really good card. And again, we are going to be playing double Nibiru. Now, I don't know how good Nibiru is going to be in this current format, but it does serve as like kind of like, you know, like kicking the chair under somebody when they're trying to combo off. Nibiru does a really good job at that, right? Picture like a little 4-year-old kid, he's eating a sandwich, you're telling him no, you kick the chair away from him, he's gonna fall down. Whether the sandwich falls out of his hand, whether he stops eating the sandwich is up to that kid and how bad the damage is, right? So that's exactly what a Nibiru is. Nibiru does the exact same thing. But yeah, just 2 Nibiru right now. This is more like if you guys want to, you can play it. If not, you guys can substitute for any other cards that you guys choose. But that's it for the monsters. We're only playing 16 because it is more of like a control mid-range sort of slow pace deck as opposed to like a turn 1 go, you know, absolutely vomit on the board and see what happens. But that's for the monsters, guys. Moving on to the card that I was saying that we finally got, actually, and that is Pot of Prosperity. I've been calling this Pot of Disparity for so long, I don't know why. Basically, this shows like Pot of Duality, like literally on steroids. This card says banish 3 or 6 cards of your choice from the X deck, right? So it's not extravagance where you banish 3 or 6 face down, you choose. Cool. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, any damage your opponent takes is halved. Keep that in mind. Also, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards banished, and add 1 of those excavated cards to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and of course, you cannot draw by card effects the turn you activate this card. Now, just think about this, right? Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use Pot of Prosperity, I'm gonna banish 3 from my extra deck, I'm gonna Pot of Duality, I'm gonna add a card, and I can still special summon. The only thing that limits is drawing, and we don't draw in this deck other than Pot of Prosperity. I feel like this card is literally going to be played in almost every single deck in the format if it can play it, just because you can kind of choose what you get rid of, whereas Extravagance gets rid of everything, but you do, you know, draw 2 cards. But this card is so powerful, you know what I mean? So powerful. Just put the adjective there. But anyways, moving on from our Pot of Prosperity, we are going to be talking about our Nadir Servant. You know, ultimate consistency that this card provides in our deck, being able to just kind of, you know, maneuver and get our engines going. This deck is very absurdly consistent. Like, you know, Nadir Servant, summon monster from your X deck to the graveyard, add 1 Dogmatika monster from your deck to the graveyard. You know, his attack is less than equal, blah blah blah. You already know, and then you can't special monster for the rest of the turn. You know, during the turn you activate this effect. Again, Nadir Servant adds onto our Ecclesia and our Dogmatica Flourish. So you guys can see already the consistency of this deck, and we don't even draw, like I said before, right? We have Nadir Servant, we have Prosperity, we have multiple copies of these guys, and we have hand traps to back us up. And on top of that, we are playing some, again, like I said before, it depends on how this format goes, but I wanted to cater this deck towards like kind of being a more well-rounded deck, whereas it's not really focused on combo, anti-combo, it can still do other things. Cyclone's going to be really good on being able to cyclone our opponent's Dragon Ball Strike Swordsman, being able to cyclone Eldritch cards, anything like that. Cyclone is going to be very powerful, especially when there's an undefined format. There's a lot of shenanigans going around, like a lot of trap decks. This card can stop shit all Schism as well, so I think Cosmic Cyclone is going to be a very good card in the current format. But that's it for the spells, guys. Just 8 spells. Not that crazy if our opponent Imperials orders us or not. Moving on now to the traps, and I guess this is kind of the main engine of the deck in a sense. We are going to be playing triple prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. If you guys don't know what this card does, is send 1 Destruction Sword card and 1 Buster Blade or monster from your deck to the graveyard, except prologue. But this is cost, so if you activate prologue, you're just gonna go ahead and you're gonna dump your cards for cost, right? So even if they negate, you still have your cards in graveyard, which absolutely boggles my mind. But on top of that, you special 1 Buster Dragon from your extra deck, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. A lot of people don't understand that this says during the end phase of the next turn. People don't register that, so they cheat so much. I've seen so many people cheat, man. Like, it's absolutely insane. Just stop cheating. Like, the card has to be destroyed. Then you can banish the card from your graveyard. This turn, Destruction Sword cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You can only activate 1 prologue during that turn. Okay, cool. This is, obviously, you guys can tell, this is one of the best cards in our deck. Then moving on, we are going to be playing 2 Destruction Sword Memories. Now this card says discard 1 Destruction Sword card, best on 1 Buster Blade or monster from your deck, right? Cool. Has a really like little E-Telly effect, it's kind of cute. But then this is the effect what we really use it for. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion on 1 Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed from your graveyard. Okay, cool. Now it all comes full circle, right? We're going to go ahead, we use prologue, we dump the cards for cost. then we chain this on resolution, once successfully done for cost, banish this, banish our cards, summon both of our monsters, and I'll explain later on how this lock actually works. Again, moving on, we are going to be playing just double Dogmatic punishment. I don't really know how good 3 is in this deck. Just testing, you don't really miss the third one all too much. If you want to play the third one, you can, you know, to each their own, but I just think that 2 is good enough as is. If you go through 2, you probably won the game already. Then again, a card in the current format that's actually about to go crazy, Ice Dragon's Prison. Guys, I know this card's been going stupid in the past couple months, and even before that, this card, ever since it's been released, it's been really insane. Again, let's just go through it real quick for you guys. You know, you can target one monster opponent's graveyard, special summon to your field, its effects negated, then banish one monster from both players' fields that have the same type as each other. So if you're playing against a deck like Dragon Link, say they go ahead, for example, they go normal summon, they go Link and Striker Dragon. Cool. You go Ice Dragon's Prison, you summon the monster, and then you banish both monsters. Okay, that's not really the best application for it, but I was just giving an example. Another good example is if your opponent goes normal Raptor, you go Chain Effect, they go Chain Mist, you go Chain Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon will banish the Mist and banish the Raptor, right? Raptor will still resolve, don't get me wrong, but it'll still banish 2 cards. It's really powerful. Golden Lord, it does the same thing. Zodiac's really powerful as well. So again, just a really good all-around trap card in the current metagame. And again, infinite impermanence for more hand traps. You guys can substitute this card like strikes, judgments, you know, up to you guys. But again, let's move on to our last cards of the deck. It's Trap Trick. This is the best card in the deck in almost any sort of situation, just because it can get you prologue as soon as possible. And again, we want to be able to get to prologue as soon as possible. So we have 3, 6, 9. Prosperity will draw us multiple cards as well. So you know, you guys can see the consistency already and how soon and how fast we can actually get these cards going. But anyways, that was it for the main deck, guys. Now I'm gonna quickly talk about some side deck options. Side deck as in like my alternate, you know how I've been talking about that. But yeah, we are going to be talking about some different variants of the little Buster Boy we can talk about. This is Robot and this is Wizard. Cool. Robot says while this card is equipped to a monster, spell, and trap cards that are already face up on your opponent's side of the field cannot activate their effects. It's not that bad, it's just not that good, right? You would rather play any other cards, Buster Lock. But now this is a card that a lot of people I have been seeing playing. This says while this card is equipped to a monster, monsters in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effects. So Wizard Buster is actually kind of important because again, against decks like Drytron, decks that don't really summon from the X deck, or decks that, sorry, they do summon from the X deck, but decks that kind of have another different niche, you can actually play Wizard Buster Destruction Sword instead, and it literally provides a lot more in that regard. But now moving on to some other cards you can play. Forbidden Droplets. I've seen a lot of decks be playing Forbidden Droplets, as well as Dark Ruler No More. Since there is literally no more VFD, Zexal, you know, turn 1 FTK decks, you don't really need to be playing hand traps anymore. You can actually get away with playing Dark Ruler and Forbidden Droplets. Again, another card that's going to be pretty good is Triple Tactics Talent. So there's going to be a lot of Dragoon decks running around this current format, and I will be giving you my updated top 5 decks of the current format really soon, so stay tuned for that. But that is Talents, and again, you can play the Dragoon engine. I don't know why you would. I've seen a lot of decks be playing this. Don't know how good it is, but that's up for you to decide. But now moving on, we are going to be playing Double Buster Blader, the Destruction Destroyer Swordsman. So it's a mouthful. Just call him Buster Blader, fusion guy, big guy. And basically, he says this must be fusion summoned, can't attack directly, gains 1000 attack or defense for each dragon monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. That's kind of a cool effect. This is the effect that we care about. Change all dragon monsters your opponent controls to defense position. Also, dragon monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects. Then he has Piercing. Cool. Now this guy is the reason why him plus Buster Dragon is the reason why this deck is so potent, and I'll explain Buster Dragon real quick. All monsters your opponent controls become Dragon type. What does this guy do? He says Dragon types go to defense position, can't activate their effects. He Baguskas them, this makes him that. Then he says you can try 1 Buster Blader in your graveyard, special summon it, and then once per turn your opponent's turn, try 1 Buster Blader monster you control, equip 1 Destruction Swordsman monster from your graveyard to it, of course, and then this is a quick fact, it's pretty cool. But again, these two guys we summon literally turn 1 of our combo, lock our opponent from the extra deck with this guy, lock our opponent from monster effects with this guy, make them all dragons with this guy. It's like floodgate deck, right? Cool. Anyways, Entis, you guys know what Entis does. Send to the graveyard, pop a card. Dogmatika punishment lets you pop 2 cards in a sense. Titanic Clad, I didn't really want to play this guy, but I feel like you just need to play him if you already have access to the other cards because he gives you the follow-up play with Ecclesia. Buster Dragon, you guys saw, you know, big booty baby, turns all monsters to defense position in a sense, right? And then, yeah, whatever. Hot Red is another card, and I feel like it's mandatory in this deck. And this is what I was explaining. These two guys can summon themselves, right? So if you have a board of Buster Dragon plus Destruction, Destroyer, Swordsman, whatever this guy's name is, right? Like I said before, Prologue says destroying it at the end of the next turn, right? So if you do this, during your opponent's turn, Buster Dragon gets destroyed during your turn. But a cool thing that we can do actually is we can unequip our Dragon Buster Destruction Swordsman and then synchro him. Whoa, what just happened to me there? But yeah, basically what you can do is you can just go Buster Dragon with this guy into Hot Red, and that's about it. Omega again for the Dogmatica card. Geonator because I feel like people still don't play around this card all too much. Link Rebo because it's Link Rebo, double Protector Whelp, and double Anima. And this strictly because you actually might go through the 2 Protector Whelps. Protector Whelp also has the effect where you can special 1 Buster Blader monster from your hand. And then again, Anima, another card that it forces your opponent to play around these 2 cards, and it punishes them for not being able to do it. So yeah, that's for deck for all, guys. Now let me quickly show you guys like the basic combo of this deck. Alright guys, so now we are going to be talking about the basic combo of this deck. Now it's not really a combo, it's just kind of like the play. It's really similar to like normal Alistair, make Macabre, like how to do that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm explaining right here. And again, it is going to be with just Buster Whelp, like I said before. Go ahead, you go normal Buster Whelp. Buster Whelp's effect will trigger, and this will go ahead and net us our prologue. And again, now we link our boy away into our Link Rebo, our Anima, whatever you guys want to do. Set the prologue, and now we pass our turn. During our opponent's turn, stand by main phase, whatever. As soon as they summon a monster, or even if they do something, you just go ahead and use this. We're going to dump our Destruction Trap card and our Buster Blader, and then in the same chain, we are going to banish our Trap card, then successfully resolve, banish our monsters. This will go ahead and net us our Big Boy and our Synchro, and just like that, our opponent has his entire life turned off. They're all dragons. This is kind of funny because against like Salamander, they can't do anything. And then this says, oh, you're Baguska, you can't do much as well. And again, I'm going to be super big and kill you during the next turn. And we do have protection with this trap card for him. So again, it's really cool in that regard. So guys, that was it for the video. If you guys liked the video, make sure to go ahead and like this video. If this video is at 13 likes, try and get it to 14 likes. So that's 14, try and get it 15, and so on and so forth. Again, if you have made it to the end of this video, go ahead and comment down Buster. Yes, B-U-S-T-E-R. Again, subscribe if you've made it this far already, because what are you doing watching my videos and not subscribe at this point in the video? And without further ado, guys, this is Hamza, and like I always say, keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.